Welcome back to Fresh Out the Film New Year's Special. I'm Mara.
And I'm Gio.
And today, we are not fresh out of the film.
We are not.
Both of these movies that we are reviewing today, it is a double New Year's Special episode, came out a few weeks ago. And we saw them, had some technical difficulties, and were unable to record and release episodes. So we are doing that now for our New Year's Special, even though it's almost end of January.
Yeah, we're a little late to the New Year's celebrations, I think. People are probably already broken the majority of their New Year's resolutions at this point in January, so
right.
We, just give everybody a good reminder of the new year, push everybody forward, what I'm saying?
It is still the new year, even though it's into the new year.
It's true, and I also think the month of January in general is, they always say that's where movies go to die, so, that's why we didn't choose to do any movies in January.
Right.
So, well, obviously that's not why, but that is where...
That's a great reason.
It's where movies go to die, so we decided to skip January and wait to review some films that were out in late December instead.
Wow. Yeah, so the first movie that we'll be reviewing today is Mufasa, the Lion King.
Yes.
Which came out, I believe, December 20th, correct?
Sounds right.
Right? It is starring Aaron Pierre and Kevin Harrison Jr., directed by Barry Jenkins, and written by Jeff Nathanson. And Mufasa the Lion King is a prequel of sorts to the actual Lion King, and it is the story of Mufasa as a young lion cub, separated by his parents by a flood. He finds himself rescued by another cub, and they form a strong bond despite their differing backgrounds. The budget was estimated to be about $200 million.
Wow.
And it grossed $24 million in the box office opening weekend. It is currently a 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 6.7 out of 10 on IMDb, and a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yikes, man.
Yikes.
I think when it came out, it was actually a little bit higher on at least Rotten Tomatoes, because I feel like when I was looking at it like a month ago, it was at least higher than that, man. 50-some%.
Yeah, I think the critics' reviews have always been kind of low for it.
Yeah. Audience scores definitely. I also want to mention, you were saying it's a prequel film up top. Did you know that they actually did a prequel for The Lion King already?
A prequel of sorts, I believe, yes.
It's The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, was a direct-to-video sequel to the original film. And apparently, people were speculating when this first came out that it was going to be a remake of that. And it wasn't.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That came out right in the surge of the early 2000s, Disney pushing out all of the sequels.
Yeah, all the direct-to-DVD ones, which were terrible. Mm-hmm. Is that like the same era of like Cinderella 2 and stuff like that?
Yeah.
That is? Oh my god.
The Little Mermaid 2, where she has like a daughter.
Yeah. All
those crazy ones.
Made Disney a lot of money, but not great film.
So
not
stupid. Yeah. So I think we can just jump right into the story since this is a double episode.
Totally, yeah. We got to move it along today. It's gonna be difficult. I think the story's gonna be a lot shorter today compared to most times. So just stop me, if I skip over anything or if you want to talk about a certain point, because I'm kind of within each bullet point. I'm moving through some, a few scenes sometimes. But we'll start slow with the credits open, and it dedicates the movie to James Earl Jones, which I thought was really cool.
Very nice.
He died during production, really, of this film, so it was a very nice sentiment. The quote that was said is, "Look at the stars. The great kings of the past look down on us from those stars. Whenever you feel alone, remember those kings will always guide you, and so will I." And it was, oh man, I don't know about you. I was sad sitting there reading. Oh, what a way to start that one. Jeez.
Great way to start.
But anyways, we get past that, and we start getting into our actual movie. So we see the aftermath of the first Lion King movie, the further aftermath. And Simba and Nala have given birth to a daughter named Kiara, and they're about to have a second cub as well. So they leave to go find an oasis for Nala to give birth in, and Simba leaves Timon and Pumbaa in charge of Kiara, which is a heck of a decision. Luckily, soon they're visited by Rafiki, who tells real stories. Number one, because Pumbaa and Timon were telling
Timba. Just combining both of the names, same time.
Pumbaa and Timon were telling some very untrue stories, like how they pushed Scar into the fire at the end of the Lion King one.
Yeah,
it's pretty
some
funny.
Very funny dialogue with them at the start of the movie.
So, Rafiki comes in and he decides to tell Kiara the story of a young Mufasa and a young Scar. I want to ask you real quick right here, since we're in the middle of it. Did you like this format for storytelling?
Yes, I did, because it gave me the same vibes as Lion King 1.5.
Yeah.
Arguably one of the best Lion King movies.
Totally.
For anyone that doesn't know, it's a story of Timon and Pumbaa before the Lion King. But it is them telling it. But it's them telling it to the audience rather than telling it to the kids. So I like that. I think it was smart, and it's a fun way to like incorporate the characters that we know and love to the movie that's not about them.
100%. And I mean, it wasn't full blown Lion King 1.5, because they were so much more involved, because we were getting to see what they were doing while we knew what other characters were doing, so they're kind of, the whole story is kind of taking place in real time, I guess, whereas now it's them kind of looking back on stuff, and the commentary works in a way that, it's a lot more grounded than Lion King 1.5, but it's still super funny, especially with those two, Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen. They're
very
comical.
Funny, yeah, so funny.
So, Rafiki's telling the story, and we learn that Mufasa was born to his parents named Masego and Afia. I'm not going to use those names again, because I didn't remember those whatsoever.
Totally forgot until you said that.
These two are in search of the mythical land called Malele, which is just the ideal piece of nature that the Pride would want to be in. Pretty much like their version of the closest thing to heaven on earth that they have.
Right, it's like the perfect place that they can live, sort of.
I'm sure Malele means something like something. I don't know what it means.
It does.
Unfortunately, though, their peace is interrupted when a giant flood comes, and Mufasa is rushed downstream and separated from his parents. And, dude, this lion can swim.
It was so sad.
It was. Gosh. But, I mean, kudos to Mufasa, because he traveled far, man, and somehow did not drown and all that. Like, how far do you have to get before you don't even know where you are in the vicinity of where you got swept away from? You can't get to the side, yet you somehow survived that?
Well, yeah, I think he just kind of was taken away with the tide.
Like, think about that. If you're in a river... The stream, I don't know. Well, think about that. If you're in a river and you're like, okay, I know where I am. I'm in, right by my house in a river. And then you start getting taken down that river. How long do you have to keep your head above water before you're far? Yeah, but how long do you have to keep above water before you're like, wait a minute, where am I?
Yeah, very impressive.
I think he got pushed out into the ocean at some point, but impressive is one word for it. Mufasa is washed up in a faraway land, and he's about to be attacked by a crocodile. When he saved this crocodile, I was thinking about too how it didn't have speaking lines, but that crocodile could have just spoke at any time. Because we're in the animal.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because you just think about it with the specific characters that were there. But I didn't think.
I thought it was very funny how that was done. And he was like, I have a secret to tell you, and then he's like, "There's an alligator behind you.
Yeah.
You're about to die." Actually,
Taco was a little too casual about it.
Yeah, it was really funny. I thought.
But yeah, he's about to be attacked by a crocodile, like you said. Taka steps in, a different lion cub from a different pride. he's saved by Taka. So Taka takes Mufasa to his parents, King Osabi and Queen Eshe. Taka's grounded for welcoming in an outsider, but Mufasa vows to help the pride and runs out with Taka to prove his worth. So this was the race that they had. Basically, the king, the dad wanted them to basically race to. It was either if Mufasa loses, he dies. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, they eat him.
They eat him.
Yeah.
And it's
and if he wins, he can stay with the women lions.
Yeah, so he can stay with the women lions. That's true. And Taka decides to let Mufasa win.
Yeah, it was such a sweet scene.
Like
it makes you like sad, but it was just like, aw, like they were so cute as like little tiny lions running around, and it was really nice and really a sweet scene. I think
so too. It definitely showed that more sympathetic side that Scar had for Mufasa in the past, you know. And if anybody's confused, I think I'm going to spoil it up front just so we know. Taka is Scar.
Yeah, yes.
They are the same person. And we'll figure out why he got called Scar by the end of this.
It's coming back to me. I'm sorry. All the thoughts from this movie.
Yeah, it's been a while. Taka loses so Mufasa can join the pride, the female side of the pride, because Dad's still not happy. And as Mufasa and Taka grow older, their brotherly bond becomes even stronger. And I'm not really talking about songs too much today, but I want to mention right here the song Brother. Is that what it's called? Brother? Or I'm Your Brother or something like that?
Something along those lines. I definitely think it was like the best song.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, like the most fun.
It was just...
Definitely. It's called I Always Wanted a Brother.
I Always Wanted a Brother.
Yeah, and we see them grow up, or, well, I guess they just like change through that song into old.
It was kind of sad because, like, you think back to the original Lion King, like, in Hakuna Matata, how when Simba grows up, like, they keep cutting back to that branch. And you see all the different stages of Simba walking, or not that branch, that log, like, in the middle of, you know, a ravine or whatever. And instead, it was literally just a couple rhinos or something passed, or elephants that passed in front of them, and then they're old.
Yep.
One switch, but I get it. It's so much to animate. Like,
for sure. But I liked that song. I thought it was good. It was very Lin-Manuel Miranda, like.
100%.
I was very much reminded in that song that it was him writing the music for this.
Yeah, and it was. I think the use of this. You haven't heard songs like that because nobody can sing "Brother," right? Like, brother, brother. That does not sound right. But when he just like takes the R off of it, add a little A, it's flawless.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's a classic singing tactic to be able to like elongate to somehow not adding the consonant on the end of a word, and it's really exaggerated because they say it so often, so you can really hear it.
It sounds cool.
It was definitely stuck in my head for a while, I would say, after the movie. It's very good.
So yeah, after that song, Mufasa's with the group of lionesses, pretty much, and all these lionesses are they're the hunters. You know, the male lions protect the lay around on them.
You're just gonna lay around.
And the female lions do the hard work.
Right.
But as Taka's mom is teaching Mufasa how to hunt, they become surrounded by a group of white lions. And they have not seen these lions around before. These lions are hostile. So these lions are trying to mess with Mufasa and his stepmom, I guess. But Mufasa decides to fight them off, ultimately killing one of the white lions as well. Taka, from the brush, he saw the attack going down, but he decided to run away in fear instead of fighting.
Yeah, so and that's like, keep in mind, like, that is his mom, like, his mom. Yep. So that's pretty crazy.
I was not liking Taka there, I won't lie. Pretty much from that moment on, it's hard to like Taka, because it was just, how are you going to let Mufasa stand up for your family and not help?
Yeah, but you gotta think, like, he literally has absolutely no training at all. Like, he wouldn't do well.
He's got better fighting training. Like, aren't males more, like, I assume, in most animals, males are the more rowdy, right? Like, more...
Right, but with that, it seems the women are the ones that always hunt and do all of that, so the men, at the time when they weren't being attacked, he never got a lot of action, never got to fight, and now he doesn't really know how.
Yeah.
And Mufasa does, because he was taught by his mother.
Can't use his jaw as well and stuff.
Yeah.
That can make sense.
I kind of get it, but no, like a pretty bad move, I would say.
Yeah, we're definitely, not supposed to like Taka in that moment still. I assume, because that, gosh, man, that is hard to watch. So the lions are retreating back to their king. The white lions decide to retreat back to their king named Kyros. This is where we get that song, Bye Bye.
This was such a funny song.
What did you say about it? Do you remember? You were telling me how it was written the first time, you think?
Oh, yeah. I thought it was so possible, and this, like, totally could not be true, that it was written, because the whole vibe of the song, go listen to it if you haven't heard it, is basically, like, I'm the last person you're gonna, or I'm the last lion you're gonna see before you die, before I kill you. So, like, I feel like so many of those lines could have said die in them, but then it was like, it's a kid's movie, let's change it to bye-bye, as like saying, that's how we're saying we're killing them, which I do think is a really hilarious way to say, like, I'm gonna kill all of you, just bye-bye.
It is. I'm happy that they end up calling back to that song too, at least, because I knew it was coming at some point in the end for him to say it, and luckily it wasn't as cringy when he said it, because when this song, I was like, I don't know about this.
I don't know, I kind of fucked with it. Like, I thought it was kind of fun. It was kind of weird, but I thought it was, like, such a... I don't know, whoever plays him, and I'm not sure.
I think. Mads Mikkelsen?
It was just such, like, that, like, a villain voice.
Yes.
Like, very much reminiscent of Scar in The Lion King. Like, so just, like, deep and, like, dramatic that I really liked it, like, as a villain song.
Jeremy Irons can sing a lot better than Mads Mikkelsen could. I think I actually have something in the technical section about this, so we'll circle back to it, but I'm pretty sure he was not He wasn't a singer at all, so Lynn worked with him really close to kind of Dwayne The Rock Johnson this, and write a song that could fit him well enough.
Yeah,
you could tell he's kind of like letting his notes go early and things, got a lot of breath involved.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's like he did a great vocal performance, but I would say he definitely sounds like a Disney villain.
100%.
For sure.
I think the name's Mads Mikkelsen. It might be something else. I might be
I'm not too
very
sure.
much butchering. I'll eventually get to it. He's a famous villain in a couple things. The White Lions attack the Pride for revenge against one of their White Lions that they lost. But the brothers manage to escape. Taka and Mufasa get out. So Kyros...
They go to start their own... What's it called?
Pride?
Their own pride, of course.
Yeah. That is kind of like what they've said. Like...
Which is a little confusing when you send two male lions off to start their own pride with the assumption that there are no other lions, right?
This king sucked. This guy, he was just lazy, hated Mufasa for no reason, and then was like, go start a new pride, except he sent two males off.
Very strange.
Dude, that's a great point. Like, what is he thinking there? You guys are screwed, man. Oh my god, you gotta find another lioness. That's nuts.
Well...
Maybe that's part of Taka's liking for Sarabi, but we'll get there, I guess.
Yeah, they find another lioness really easily.
Yeah,
so
they
thank
do.
God.
Just one. So Kyros continues to hunt for the duo, but Mufasa and Taka, there she is, come across a lioness named Sarabi, alongside Zazu, and eventually we also get to meet a young Rafiki.
Yeah.
So the whole squad's getting together, traveling across Africa, I assume, and they are, I don't know where we are, if this is official world, I think.
We're definitely in Africa.
I think we're in Africa. Who knows, it could just be like an entire, like Africa environment planet. You never know. With how far they're going, how long that water took them.
Africa is pretty big, G. This is a pretty big continent, I must say.
That is true. Not big enough to run into like exactly the people you need. Rafiki was literally on a quest for Malele when they ran into him, and kind of confirmed to Mufasa that was where they needed to go, Malele.
Yeah, they also
Kinda
just
weird.
they completely wanted to kill him until he said that, and he did not give a fuck.
No, it's so funny. It's just a young Rafiki just walking, and they're all like threatening him, like I'm about to eat you and stuff. And what was he saying?
I don't even know.
He's just a driven guy. We got to see his kind of family of baboons, or mandrills, that we had not seen before. One of those baboons in that council in the tree before Rafiki walks off, gets banished, is a Lin-Manuel Miranda cameo. And I have no idea which one.
I don't know either. You should have told me before we watched the movie, because you just told me that after, and I was like, damn, I could have looked for it.
Yeah, I should have told you that before. I gotta remember to tell you those cameos so we can look. But I was really listening hard more. I swear he's putting on a voice. Like, he must have been because we listened to Hamilton so many times in our life. We know what that guy's voice sounds like, you know?
But he also can jump into, like, different accents.
That's true. That's true.
So
Rafiki tells everybody that he's on a quest to Malele, and Mufasa's like, oh yes, this is the move. This is, kind of my purpose my whole life. So I'm gonna also try to get to Malele. Now just one other person having that belief gives him the belief that Malele is really a real place. But as all this is happening, Taka grows smitten with Sarabi and attempts to tell her how she feels when they're being chased by the white lions. The way that he does that, really, he doesn't really tell her how he feels, I guess. He's flirting with her a little more, so try to get her under his wing, kind of.
Right.
And the way he does it is by using Mufasa's ability to smell, because Mufasa can smell the flowers of Sarabi's hometown, or home.
Yeah, Mufasa
area.
just literally lays down the exact way of how all of these things that you can say that I have picked up from her, that you can say that, so he's really wingmaning the shit out, but it's not actually coming from Taka.
Dude,
so it's...
you want to see some wingmaning the shit out of him? So, Sarabi, there's a herd of elephants, because Sarabi's trying to cause a distraction. Right. Because Kyros is on him. So Sarabi is injured, and she's getting, like, trampled and stuff. She's in a bad spot, passed out on the ground. Mufasa jumps on top of her and protects her from all of the elephants.
Yep.
But once they're safe, Mufasa cues in that it remembers that Taka has feelings for her. So he tells her that Taka was the one who saved her.
Yeah. Which, pretty, again, crazy wingman move.
Crazy wingman move.
Pretty committed, honestly.
At that point, if I'm Taka, how do you ever go against this boy Mufasa? Like, look at what he just did for you. He just went and saved your crush's life, and then decided to say it was you. He's doing everything he can, Taka. Hopefully Taka wouldn't betray.
Well, I think we're going to
Mufasa.
be on very different sides of this later in the story, based on how
this will be great.
Stuff you're doing about this. This is good.
So after all that goes down, we keep walking along. We go through some canyons and stuff. I'm pretty sure this is where we get the song "We Go Together." Bum, 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 bum. We go together. Dun, dun. I don't know any of it. These songs are not that.
I have no idea. I cannot remember. When you said that, I'm just thinking of like the Grease song.
Picture like Taka sitting on like a rock in the middle of the canyon with a bunch of trees on us.
Oh,
like, Sarabi, we go together.
Oh,
and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yes, and it turns into like the other song.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes.
I think so, and that's when we get up to
because he's so happy, and then he sees that, and then he like yeah. I'm sorry, I'm getting way ahead of the story. I'm just trying to remember. This is why we do fresh out the film. We don't do
exactly
fresh out the
these viewers don't
3 weeks
deserve this.
later.
Honestly, man. I mean, us just reminiscing a month ago. That movie's completely out of the public eye. Nobody's ever gonna watch it.
Yep.
All right.
That's okay.
Well,
keep going.
We're in the snowy mountains, and I will say this terrain is really cool. Mm-hmm. How these lions are, specifically Zazu, is equipped for snow like this is just not right. No freaking way they could weather these temperatures. It's heavy snow, tops of mountains. Zazu's literally going in the snow to cover up their tracks, dude. And Zazu's just fine. He's just fine. No fires being made. It is frigid. temperatures up there, bro.
That's a good point that I did not think about at all.
Yeah, because I know what they were doing, because it's like, oh, we want to put some snow into this, you know? We've never had that type of terrain in a Lion King movie. But then it's like, homie, you got a mandrill, 2 lions, and a bird. That's not well-equipped group for snow right there at all.
Yeah, and was there anything about them being cold at all?
No, dude, like, there was nothing. I mean, and they were jumping in the snow and stuff, like, picture, like, right here, like, Sarabi and basically talks to Mufasa, and she knew that it was him who saved her life. And the two fall in love over a song where they're just jumping around in the snow. I don't remember the song's called, but they should be freezing, but I guess the power of love is what's keeping them warm inside.
I mean, I don't think too much for the lions. Like, lions have so much fur.
Yeah, but, like, it doesn't matter how much fur you have.
But, like, for Zazu,
if you're used
for
to
sure.
80, 90 degree weather, and what about the mandrill? Like, that baboon, bro? You know, Rafiki? There's no way Rafiki is chilling up there, bro. That's gotta be freezing.
That's such a good point.
But yeah, Sarabi and Mufasa are in love, and Taka is up on the hill watching this happen. And he is jealous. He is very, very jealous. So
he's pissed.
Out of resentment, without confronting Mufasa or anything, he heads off to find Kyros, who was tracking them through the snow the best he could. And
I must say, I assume his assumption was...
I assume his assumption... yeah.
My assumption of what his assumption was is that he's like, what the fuck? My brother's with the girl that I told him that she liked, and now he's like, obviously he should have talked to Mufasa. He'd have been like, no, that didn't happen. Or talk to Sarabi, like,
yeah.
And she would have just been like, I don't fucking like you like that.
I guarantee if he would have had a conversation with Mufasa, the way that Mufasa's been this whole movie, he still would have looked past Sarabi and been like, alright, you were there first. I'll remove myself. It's all right. But he went straight to Kyros because Mufasa's been so good the whole time, man. He would, if Taka just asked, he would. In my opinion.
I must say, and I'm gonna add on to this later. These whole like kind of beef type thing between them happening over like a woman is a choice. Like, that's pretty insane. Like, for this to be the feud that they are choosing is insane. But we can touch on that at the end.
I completely agree. I mean, honestly, right now might be a good time to touch on that because this is right when Taka makes his betrayal. He's walking off to go talk to Kyros right now. Like, what is?
But I have things to say about the ending with that. Okay, just moving in. But I would agree with it. Like, it's a choice. For sure.
A stretch, if you ask me. I think it is a stretch.
Yeah, absolutely.
To think that... I'll save it. Alright. So yeah, two fall in love. Taka's headed off to find Kyros, and he offers Kyros to help him get revenge on Mufasa. Basically tells him exactly where they're going, Malele, which... So that's just...
And he allows them to... He's gonna leave behind clues, basically, so they can track them.
Yep. Scratching trees and stuff like that. Yeah, so they can get through the mountains themselves. And
it's kind of...
God, thank God they didn't have to fight the white lions in the mountains, because that would have been a wrap.
How would you be able to see them?
Exactly. The following day, the gang arrive at Malele. But, of course, Kyros and his pride invade the oasis not too long after they get in. So, like you said, this was because Taka left tracks, or marks for Kyros to follow. So, here comes the big fight. Mufasa tries to fight off Kyros, and Kyros tells Mufasa that Taka betrayed him. So, Mufasa pretty much made his decision about Taka, I think, at that moment, although we didn't get to see the conversation. Mufasa decides to try to get the others, which are the just random animals around, to fight off the white lions. And he successfully does that with a nice little speech, which is nice. While all this is happening, Kyros decides to force Mufasa into a cave, where Mufasa is starting to tire out. Inside this cave, Taka has an angle on this fight going down, and Mufasa's getting beat up. Kyros is probably about to kill him. So Taka becomes full of guilt, thinking back to all these moments when he didn't step in with his mom, the mistakes he's made, and he tries to intervene and save Mufasa one last time. But it's successful, but Kiro scratches Taka's eye, leaving a scar.
That's the scar. So the scar, let's just keep this in mind really quickly. The scar he got as he's sort of defending Mufasa.
Yep.
Okay? We're keeping that in mind.
Truth. Yep. So, while all this is going down, Kiros actually still has the upper hand because he just slashed, forgot Taka's name.
His eye, yes.
Taka's eye. So Rafiki decides to cause a flood, and in turn also the cave to kind of collapse while it's happening. I think it was just the cave collapsing, actually.
Yeah.
Not the flood.
Right.
But I don't know. Somehow water's in the bottom of the cave. I have no idea.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, Rafiki knocks down what was just a cave before, and it ends up a really big protruding piece that was standing upright on the front of the cave falls forward and lands, revealing the platform that Rafiki holds Simba up on and everything, revealing Pride Rock.
Pride Rock.
Which is cool.
I really liked that. Yeah, I thought it was cool.
Because they never mentioned Malele, and I didn't see Pride Rock, so I was just like, oh, this is a different place. And then when that happened, that makes so much more sense. So yeah, there's water in the bottom of the cave, so Kiros and Mufasa are fighting the water. So Mufasa basically makes a move to try and play the upper hand, and since he's used to being in the water, he gets in the water, and they battle it out down there, and Mufasa, who is about to die, is saved by a falling boulder, landing on top of Kiros, ultimately killing him, unless Kiros has some underwater abilities. Mufasa swims to safety, and after the flood dies down, the animals celebrate their triumph. So I guess there was a flood. I don't even remember. I just remember the rocks falling.
I also just remember the rocks falling. It was a notable part.
So, Mufasa's got the W. Rafiki dubs Mufasa as their new king. And
all the animals love him.
They do. They all bow. And
it's
and this was the first time those animals were really united. Which is cool too, because he had to kind of get them all on the same side to be able to fight the common enemy.
Yeah.
So Mufasa also finds out that his mom's there. I forget her name, but his mom is alive. Unfortunately, his dad is not, though, so that's a sad little moment.
And can I tell you, when it showed her, totally thought it was Sarabi. Completely thought that until he went up to her and I was like, oh. Because all of those fucking lions look the same.
The lionesses especially.
Yeah, I can touch on that later.
Yeah. You know why I think his dad passed away? Because really there's, unless there's something in the Lion King that I missed, I'm pretty sure they just didn't want to animate another lion.
That's very
because it wasn't a big moment either. It was just kind of oh.
Well, maybe it was
now let's do the roar.
Maybe it was both of them would have looked for him, but since it was just one, she couldn't have gone off on her own and kind of. I thought that could have been the vibe.
That could make sense.
If it was two of them, it would kind of hurt more than just oh, my parents just didn't look for me. Well, I guess I could have thought they were dead. I don't know. I don't know why that was the choice, but I think it definitely could be they didn't want to put another lion.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems like the most obvious because I know how much effort that would be.
Right.
But who knows? So, Mufasa's dad has passed away. Mufasa then talks to Taka about his betrayal.
In front of, everyone.
In front of everybody. He forgives him to an extent. He does. But he also says, he's I forgive you, but I will never speak to you again. And he also vows, he vows to never speak his name again. So he vows to call him Scar from now on, and I think it's pretty cool because it's the reason that he's called Scar is not because of what we always thought, which was the fact it's a villain who's a scary name, obviously the scar on his face, but it's really Mufasa calls him that and gave him that name because that was the moment that Taka was a good lion right there. is when he stepped in and got the scar.
That's why I think it's weird that he said, because like
It's a
Scar
respect
seems
thing.
no, well, it doesn't seem like a respect thing
doesn't,
to me.
but he only
like to me,
Mufasa
it seems
knows.
like, oh, I'm not gonna speak your name, blah blah blah. I'm gonna call you Scar.
Yeah, it's because Taka was a terrible line. He does not want to speak to Taka, but Scar stepped in for him. So when he refers to him, he can stomach stand the name Scar because that's the line who saved his life. Taka is the line who betrayed him, who betrayed his family, who gave up.
But it wasn't who saved his life because he was saving his life as Taka before he got the scar.
Yeah,
the scar was just the end of
Yeah.
him fighting that one guy.
So that's what I'm saying. Scar was his retribution moment. So by Mufasa calling Taka Scar, that is showing that I'm going to call you the part of you that I like. Because Taka, I don't want to refer to that anymore. The only thing I can possibly stomach is Scar.
See, it seems like an insult because, like, I would agree. The way he says it, and I know it's a lie.
With his incredibly emotive anthropomorphic
the
face.
way he says it in front of literally everyone, and it's like, I'm not gonna call you that, you're Scar now, and then it's like, I don't know, like, I feel like if it was a Disney Channel show, there would be like, ooh, you know, like in the background, like everyone being like, damn, you know,
Yeah, because
kind of vibes.
Yeah, and everyone should, because everyone should hate Taka.
So he wants you, no, but he's putting that shame onto Scar.
So why not call him, like, you know, piece of shit line, POS line? Like, you could, I know that's not realistic, but if you wanted to put Scar down, right, Taka down, you could name him anything. You could say you'll no longer be referred to as a name. You're banished. Anything. Instead, he chooses to name the one thing that was Scar's retribution moment. It's not like, oh, you have this new mark, so now we're going to call you this to spite you.
But you can't say Taka was always awful. He was always a terrible lion that always betrayed Mufasa.
Taka was the one who betrayed Mufasa.
Taka
Scar
was the one
who saved
that saved him in the first place when he was in the river and almost got eaten by the lion.
Yeah.
He was the one that saved him once again when they were in the race and he fell back so he could win. So to say that it's his that's, and I do think that is what the movie is trying to portray. But here is why I disagree with it, and I think they did it in a bad way, because Taka was, like, awesome to him, like, the entire time. Like, he literally saved his life 2 times. Mm-hmm. And then he just, like, fucked up a few times, and then, like, Mufasa's like, yeah, fuck you, whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so you see what I'm saying about the Scar thing? I totally see it.
I completely see what you're saying, but I think they shouldn't.
It doesn't work.
They shouldn't have done
Taka
that.
wasn't a bad enough line.
Yeah, but Taka wasn't. They didn't give him. That's the one thing going into this movie I was thinking about was, I don't want this movie to just be like an annoying, like, villain story arc where, like, I like Scar, like, after this. And fuck, I really like Scar after this, and they didn't even try to give him, like, a revenge arc and make him seem, they just did it so terribly that he, in my mind, it just seems, I don't know, again, it also seems, like I said before, so strange that they made the choice of their whole feud to literally be over a woman. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
A woman that the relationship between Taka and Nala wasn't even that well drawn out. Or sorry, not Sarabi. Wasn't even that drawn out. Like,
right.
It was just a few conversations. Like, there was a line where we were supposed to know that Taka has the hots for Sarabi, and it was like a really weird line that was just kind of one quick thing, and it, like, luckily I cued into it, or else when he was seriously, you know, trying to figure out how to flirt with her, I would have been like, wait, where did this come from?
Right.
So it is so weird that switch up happened. Kind of both of them have switch ups that don't really. For Mufasa's character, how nice he is the whole time, he maybe should forgive Scar for how much less he did, and for Taka's character, how nice he is.
100% what I think is that if this was a standalone movie on its own, not connected to the Lion King, in the end, they would have forgiven each other. They would have been brothers. They would have been happy together, like ruling Pride Rock as 2 kings or some shit like that. You know what I mean? But because it was a Lion King prequel, they couldn't do that, and they had to, in the end, be like, oh, we need to make these characters mad at each other.
And they didn't.
But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that Scar would do what he does in The Lion King based on the ending events of Mufasa. You know what I mean?
Like, really, Scar's got the same opinion as you, kind of, where he's like, what the heck? Mufasa should have forgave me. like all that shit, I stepped in for him, like, right? Isn't that how the Scar that we see in The Lion King, right?
I think what the movie's trying to like tell us is like, oh, he did come back and do like one good thing in the end, which is why he still likes Mufasa and still like gets to stay. But the thing is, he's done so many good things earlier in the movie that was helping Mufasa and was saving Mufasa and was like treating him like a brother, like all of that stuff, that it's not like, oh, he did one good thing. No, he did a bunch of good things and a few shitty things, and now Mufasa's holding that against him.
I think I'll try and play the other side. I'm in agreement with you for the most part. I think the weight of the betrayal to go and talk to the people who've been trying to who killed his, Taka's pride, who has been tracking them forever, to betray them and not only try to have them find us in the mountains, but show them, where Malala is, tell them that they're going there, this heaven on earth place that Mufasa thinks about in a very spiritual way and stuff. I mean, it'd be hard. It would be hard to forgive, But I think if any lion would do it, it would be Mufasa in this movie. Like, I think
exactly, yeah, because he's like so great the entire movie, and that's just the thing. Like, I completely would get Scar or Taka's like his anger towards it because it's like, I brought this dude in. I made sure he didn't die. He's my brother. All of that shit. Like, I made sure he was with me and, like, didn't get killed in the beginning. Yeah, and now he's taken my fucking spot? Like, what the hell? Before I was like, when the movie started, I was like, oh, God, this is how it's gonna be. He's just gonna be jealous that he took his spot. But no, he actually did so much for him in the beginning. And then it's like he's getting all this special treatment from his mom. And, like, all this shit. And then his dad finally likes him. Like, I would be fucking jealous too. Like, I would be so jealous.
I wish they would just leaned into that for the big thing then, found a way to make that jealousy add up. Maybe keep the parents alive of the pride. They win the fight against a couple white lions and they're in Malala or something like that. It is. I
just think it would end so differently if it wasn't a prequel to The Lion King as a kids movie.
Yes.
Based on the lesson. Because what is... And we can touch on this later when we talk about themes and messages, but what would the message of this movie be? Not friendship, not brotherly love.
It's Mufasa's story from Malala. I think spiritual belief, and
but what's the message? What's the being true to yourself?
Yeah, be true to yourself.
Right? I can think of so many messages that would be in it if the ending was different. But obviously, it has to end the way it ended.
How would you have rewritten it, do you think? Is there a way to do it where you can lean into the jealousy aspect instead of the girl aspect that makes it, a lot bigger of a thing in the end, where you understand Mufasa's betrayal? Because it's difficult.
I don't know. I think you would probably have to add...
You need some scenes, basically, when let's have both Taka and Mufasa before the White Lions show up, trying to get all of the, trying to be one with all those other animals around. And Taka is you wouldn't need to play it on a few more times in the movie because it's only the beginning, really. But Taka is realizing how much stronger of a leader he is and things like that. And then and then that's when the White Lions show up, and that's when Taka chooses his side.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, this is not just over the girl, it's also this jealousy, but the jealousy factor was only in the very beginning of the movie, you know? Or the jealousy for, Mufasa kind of taking his place.
Right,
it turned into jealousy of a significant other, It's just
which was weird, yeah.
Yeah. Here, let me just quickly get to the rest of the movie then. Mufasa's new king, Mufasa reconciles with his mom, dad's passed away, decides to forgive Scar, calls him Scar from now on, and Mufasa walks to the top of Pride Rock and begins to roar as, we barely mentioned him, remember the story's being told by Timon and Pumbaa, so we cut back to present day where Kiara, Simba's daughter, is walking out on the same spot in Pride Rock and begins to feel the presence of her grandfather's spirit over her.
Yeah. It was also this whole narrative that she was, like, scared of the thunderstorm.
Yeah.
And now she's not. We didn't really get it. There was more stuff added with her and Timon and Pumbaa and
the older
just
Rafiki.
Yeah, but it was literally just comedy. It's not important to the story.
Soon after, Kiara, Rafiki, Timon, and Pumbaa reunite with Simba and Nala, and Kiara meets her new baby brother named Kion. Kion and Kiara. We're getting some like Game of Thrones names going here, bro. Way too similar. We're gonna get confused in the future. Alright, and that is where I end the story.
Yeah, we kind of really touched on the important ending of the movie.
We did.
So just kind of moving on to characters, if that's okay with you. I did think the character development for a kids movie was, again, pretty decent if the movie didn't end the way it did. Like, it wasn't able to convey the points it was supposed to, but in terms of how they developed the characters a lot.
Depth.
Like, they gave a lot of depth to the characters and shit like that, which was good. Specifically, I mean, Mufasa and Taka were...
I think Sarabi might have been a little glossed. She didn't have much development.
Yeah.
Because she was kind of on her own, sent off on her own with her own pride as Zazu to try to find new people and stuff, and they could have leaned into her story a little bit more.
They said, like, they all had to run, because, like, she was one of the ones that got away when they were attacked.
Oh.
Not that they went out to find new. They weren't doing what?
Yeah, but it's the same thing. They had to run away.
Right.
Instead of sending Nala with a male, their parents sent Nala with a bird. So they also had no shot at starting the new bride. Oh, sorry, Sarabi. I keep doing that.
Yeah, no, I agree. But I think in terms of the two main characters, a lot of development there, and, like, their personalities, like, you could tell, like their vibes, kind of. Obviously, it wasn't right for what the movie is trying to portray and how it ended, but I think they did give depth to the two main characters, for sure.
Yeah, I really liked young Taka, young Mufasa. Their whole dynamic was really fun and cool, and that
it was just really, like, sweet.
Yeah.
But it makes you, like, feel so sad.
It does.
Because it's just like, damn, like, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's just sad. But it does, and I should have maybe mentioned this somewhere else, but it doesn't matter. I think it is making Taka be not, like, a big... Like, having Taka have the father that he had and have him being that kind of king kind of does make 100% sense of what happened when Scar was actually king and Lion King, like when Simba ran away and Mufasa died.
Yeah,
like, it's very reminiscent of the same things, which
point.
is something I did like, but that's...
They played into that a lot. Yeah, the king was definitely a very bad influence on Scar, and you could see how he grew up into that. Yeah, that's a good
Absolutely.
point. Is this where you're talking about performances too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will say Anthony Pierre and Mufasa, and both of them, and Kevin Harrison Jr. playing Taka. I think they picked great voices.
Absolutely.
I think Mufasa's singing voice weirded me out a little bit because he went to like way higher octave.
It was a little high sometimes.
Way higher octave.
And you're like, that couldn't be a...
His voice is perfect. Like, his voice sounds
Right.
great for a young James Earl Jones. And then same with Kelvin Harrison Jr. Like, I don't know how, but sometimes when he's singing, I can just like a young Jeremy Irons. It is perfect. He got the accent.
Yeah,
everything
no,
about
it was also cool, like, how he kind of, like, eased into it. Like, even just, like, as the older Lion, he didn't start off talking, like, just how, like, the original Scar talked.
Yeah.
But by the end, he completely did. But that wasn't, like, he started and then he stopped.
He developed
it was
the
just
accent?
It was like a progression through.
That's
and it was so subtle that you, like, almost wouldn't notice.
That's cool.
You know?
That's really cool.
Which I think...
Yeah, those are the two performances I wanted to talk about. I think old Rafiki is, gosh, I don't remember his name, and I'm not seeing it here too much.
I'm really not sure.
Keith David, that might be him. I just can't tell because the picture's young. Oh, no, it's John Connie, Rafiki. He plays, or Canny. He plays, have you seen Black Panther?
The start and the end of it, not so much the middle.
Captain America Winter Soldier?
I've seen that.
Yeah, you know how Black Panther's in that? Civil War. I meant Civil War.
I've seen Civil War, yes. We're just really jumping around.
He was I'm sending you everywhere. But he played T'Challa's dad, Chadwick Boseman's dad, and he knocked it out of the fucking park. He's like in that Panther realm when T'Chaka drinks the, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I thought when I got to hear him speak, his voice is just, when you hear his voice, you'll know like exactly what I'm talking about. His voice is just so calming. I absolutely love it. And then it is Mads Mikkelsen. I'm sure you recognize this guy. He's just kind of
oh yeah, for sure,
a very cookie cutter face looking dude. He plays a lot of villains and things. I don't know if I've seen him and stuff, but he the only thing I remember him is another Marvel movie, Doctor Strange. But his main thing was played Hannibal Lecter on a show for a few years.
Wow.
Yeah, but I liked him.
Yeah, I think just moving right into the technical aspects. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and move through this pretty fast here because I think we're running a little bit long. But
I have a lot less to say.
Barry Jenkins, the director, says it's an animated film, and we don't really think about that. And honestly, it's kind of like I don't really think about that being an animated film. I think it's really Disney animation. That's what it is. I mean, that's.
So the question is why?
Kind of weird. Yeah. Do you have any comments on the animation or like?
I just think in that type of animation, how they do it, like looking so realistic, it's hard to portray like facial expressions, emotions, all of that.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because they have to hit it right in the middle where you can still tell, see how they're emoting,
right?
But you can't overdo it to where they look cartoony and unrealistic. It's a really hard ground to play. I don't know why Disney ever got into this in the first place.
I don't know why they were doing like they could have just done a different, but it's fine. I guess.
But animated in essence, despite photorealistic appearance, and is a weird combination.
Yeah,
I never liked it before.
I do like all of the scenery, all of the background was super beautiful and wonderful, so I thought that was cool. But like other than that, just like be normal animated.
100%. Yeah, so a lot of that background stuff was still like the 3D animation. So it was a combination of CGI over 3D animation.
Yeah. I also have it written down that it was hard to tell the lions apart, especially the lionesses.
Yeah,
because of how that was done.
It makes sense because of how much effort goes in. Each lion in the film featured over 30 million hairs to achieve the realistic look of fur. I don't know. I think like Sully. Do you remember Sully? And have you ever heard the thing in Monsters Inc. how they had animate Sully and animate like each individual hair?
No.
I think it was up in like the millions, but not close to 30. But it's the same type of thing. But how much effort goes in is crazy. That's just to achieve the realistic look of the fur.
Yeah.
So on just Mufasa's mane alone, it was made up of 16,995,454 hair curves.
Oh my god.
Each line has 600,000 hairs on the ears, 6.2 million hairs on the legs, 9 million hairs covering the middle portion of the body. You have to animate every single one.
Yeah, that's crazy. It seems like a lot of unnecessary work. I don't know.
I think so too. So the really quick here, the villains being white. Some people think, and this is not confirmed, that it's a reference to the infamous controversy of the allegations from Disney's The Lion King. Have you ever heard about this? Their plagiarism?
No.
I'm so happy. Okay. Okay. So basically, Kimba the White Lion it came out in 1965. I believe it was some type of foreign country film, and not America, and it was known in Japan as the Jungle Emperor. A lot of the anime and manga fans who watched Kimba when The Lion King came out in 1994, they claimed that Disney had stolen numerous elements from the Japanese franchise. Visual design, story elements, concept art for the Disney animated movies featured white lions, which was the same as Kim. There were so many similarities, like Car and both villains are dark manes, distinct facial scar over one eye. Both Simba and Kimba receive guidance from the vision of their father in the clouds. The opening sequence with the animals newborn bowing to a newborn lion is the same thing from Kimba. Wise Mandrill and Rafiki as the exact same thing in Kimba. Hyena Henchman, exact same thing in Kimba. The rocky outcrop of Pride Rock looks super similar to Kimba's ledge. Like, it is insane, man. Humorous sidekick characters are a little different, but it's Bucky the deer and Polly the cracker parrot. And it's the exact same play with those two. It is insane how much they took this from.
So is the guess that the white lion is Kimba that they're like fighting?
A lot of people think it's like a big fuck you, pretty much. Let's like put this down one and for all, make them the villain, and then beat them. It's crazy. It's crazy. The lion's face seen in the cloud. We're moving on to a new topic here. The lion's face seen in the clouds at the end when Nala's roaring is the one animation that wasn't a CGI photorealistic lion. Instead, it was the 2D image that Simba saw in the 1994 movie.
Oh,
so cool.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Now there wasn't sex in the sky though, unfortunately.
Right.
You remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. That's the classic movie somehow got through where the stars spelled out sex.
Insane.
So obviously.
How I will never not be baffled of how that got through.
It looks fake when you watch the actual thing. It's like, how do you not know this?
Right.
Would you rather have 2D animation for this film? I think we're probably both in agreement there. Yes,
yeah.
100%. 2D animation would have been so much better. This is Lynn's fifth score with Disney. We're moving into the music portion. His fifth score with Disney. First it was Moana, Mary Poppins Returns, and Encanto, Little Mermaid. He was talking about how he writes at home with an open door policy, so he's like gauging how good songs were based on his kids and his family and things like that. Based on comparing this to Moana 2 music, thinking about Lynn kind of working on that.
So much better.
So much better. He's also very excited to get to write the ballad because hadn't been a real ballad in Disney songs for a while between Sarabi and Mufasa. And then we already talked about Timon and Pumbaa crashing Rafiki and Kiara's story time, kind of Lion King 1.5-y.
Yes, Lion King 1.5-y.
Yeah, that's about it. I forgot to mention during the character part that Kiara is Beyonce's daughter, the voice actress for Kiara.
And Nala is Beyonce, which I think we all knew, but I just forgot for some reason until she talked in the end, and I was like, holy shit, Beyonce? What are you doing here?
Lynn was asked if he would ever work with Beyonce, and he responded with that he's holding space.
I love him. He's so funny.
Alright, should I just sign off on the critics really fast, or I can just do one of each?
Yeah.
And move on. Yeah.
I didn't know you were still doing that. Yeah, go ahead.
That's about it. Really, it's just the bad review from Stephen Rommel, the Australian. The director keeps a firm, if predictable, hand on the tiller. The action scenes, such as the lions trapped in the flow of the river and the elephant stampede, are impressive, but the script is limp. 2.5 out of 5. Good review that we have is Robert Daniels, IGN Movies. Jenkins' knack for eliciting deep emotion and visual wonder remains sharp, especially when bolstered by Aaron Pierre and Kelvin Harrison Jr.'s delightful voice work. 8 of 10. I'm more inside the first one.
Yeah, me too. I would say for my rating, and I'm just going to really quickly wrap it up, it would be a 2.4, just based on, I think the movie would be really, really good if it was not associated with The Lion King at all and had no connection whatsoever. But since it has to end the way it does, it just, I don't know, I think it's really just a strange avenue to pick of why Scar and Mufasa have this feud in Lion King, so I'd give it a 2.4.
Yeah, I'm fairly close to you. I'm going to land at about 2.2, a little bit lower, just because I'm going to bring it all the way down there for, like, the prequel syndrome in the first place. The fact that we know that all these characters survive, and that's just so sad.
That's true. I must
say, that happens in every single prequel, and it's just...
A few points are brought up because of the music. I did really enjoy the music. I thought it was good. And especially just, like, those actors... their voices are so amazing. It's really great to listen to, I think.
Obviously, it's our boy, Lin-Manuel Miranda, as well. So?
Yeah, so, any final thoughts?
I think I'm pretty good on Mufasa. We had a good conversation about really the thing I wanted to talk about, which was the motivations of the two, because I think we were pretty well in agreement. And then,
absolutely.
Yeah, I like the thing with this, because I kind of understood the Scar thing at the end, but you kind of flipped me on that as well. Probably brought it down even more for me.
Great, wonderful. Alright, so
okay.
The next movie that we are reviewing is A Complete Unknown.
Yes.
The Bob Dylan biopic, sort of the start of his life. It's starring Timothée Chalamet, Elle Fanning, Monica Ban, Edward Norton, and it's based on the book Dylan Goes Electric by Elijah Wald. It was the adapted screenplay was done by James Mangold, and it was also directed by James Mangold. It's about the 19-year-old Bob Dylan when he arrived in New York City in 1961. He forges a relationship with music icons in Greenwich Village on his... What am I writing down? I actually cannot read this word.
Mediocrity.
Nope.
Let me see.
I don't know why I'm freaking, like, what does that even say? What did I write down? I'm so sorry.
Meteoric?
I did this review so long ago.
Greenwich Village on his meteoric rise.
On his meteoric rise. Meteoroc, I don't know. Accumulating in a groundbreaking performance that... Why am I writing crazy words? Groundbreaking performance, crazy, changed the world, face of folk music as we know it today.
We know Bob.
Of course we know Bob Dylan. The budget, estimated between $60 and $70 million. And it made $7.1 million opening day. That's all the information I have because we saw it on opening day and then was unable to do the podcast. It's currently a 3.7 out of 5 on Letterboxd, 7.8 out of 10 on IMDb, and 79% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow.
Yeah, so much better than Mufasa.
The critics and the audiences are kind of in agreement too, which you don't see very often. That's nice. You'd think the audiences would be a little bit lower on this one because of all the Bob Dylan fans, who might be a little bit harder. So that's interesting.
Right, yeah. So that's good to know for the audience review. So just jump in right into the story.
Story time. Okay. You already mentioned it, but in 1961, Bob Dylan moves to New York City, determined to meet his ailing idol, Woody Guthrie, who has been hospitalized and unable to speak. I'm not sure what he was hospitalized with. That information is definitely out there, but he was...
I had it down, I don't remember.
Yeah, he was unable to speak.
We looked it up, but I guess we didn't write it down.
Yeah. But Woody Guthrie's been hospitalized. During his visit, Dylan encounters Guthrie's close friend, Pete Seeger. Dylan performs a heartfelt song that he wrote for Guthrie. It's called, like, My Friend Woody Guthrie or something?
Something like that.
Well, yeah, whatever it is.
It's hard to remember.
This impresses both Guthrie and Seeger, so Seeger offers Dylan a place to stay, gradually introducing him to the city's vibrant folk scene.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I do like... I'm just trying to remember from the beginning. I really liked the opening scene as he was walking through New York. You could just hear, like, so much music around him of, like, all different kinds. It was just kind of, like, clouding your ears with music, which I think it was, like, really cool and, like, obviously representing the musicality of the city.
Yeah, it's all diegetic sound where it's in real time. He's moving in and out of it. It's so freaking cool. Yeah. It's like what I picture Nashville to be if I were to walk down the street there.
Yeah, and we see that a lot throughout the film of, like, scenes of him walking down the street and that happening, or other people walking down the street and that happening.
Totally. So Dylan's talent soon catches Seeger's attention, so he introduces him at an open mic night attended by industry professionals, including manager Albert Grossman. Dylan charms the audience and it very much impresses Grossman, who immediately offers to represent him and also lets all the other agents know that this guy's mine.
Yeah.
Dylan begins recording his debut album, but he's pressured by the label to include mostly covers, which...
Yes, and this is a fully folk album. At this time,
Yes.
Bob Dylan, like, full folk artist, nothing else.
100%.
It's unclear in the movie at some point, so I'll make that clear.
You just gotta watch what guitar he's playing.
Yeah.
The album's poor sales frustrate him, leaving him yearning to showcase his original work, which becomes a big part of his person.
Yes, yes.
Before leaving on an extended work trip to Europe... Wait, I must have missed something in here, because at a certain point, he meets... Oh, I missed it, but at a concert before open mic night, he meets Sylvie Russo, who is captivating with her sharp wit, contrarian views, and tales of working at she's captivated with Dylan with his sharp wit, contrarian views, and tales of working at the carnival. So they become romantically involved. Mm-hmm. And then we get through... Bob gets signed by Grossman and stuff, and before leaving on an extended work trip to Europe, Sylvie confronts Dylan about his distant demeanor and his refusal to share details about his past. Despite their argument, she encourages him to fight for creative control, which is kind of her last thing that she kind of says to him before leaving the door.
Yeah.
While Sylvie is away, Dylan seizes the growing political and social unrest as inspiration for his music, crafting songs that resonate deeply with his audiences during the time of the Cuban Missile Crisis. His socially conscious lyrics catch the attention of Joan Baez, who they've crossed paths before, leading to a professional and romantic relationship while he's still with Sylvie.
I'm pretty sure as he's, like, living in her house while she's gone, right?
Yep,
okay.
as he's living in her house while she's gone. Yep, 100%.
Wonderful. Really
rough.
great, yeah.
As Dylan's fame grows, so do the strains on his relationship with Sylvie. Financial success brings additional stress, and Sylvie becomes increasingly suspicious of Dylan and Baez's connection. By 1965, Dylan and Sylvie part ways. Their relationship was unable to withstand the pressures of his rising stardom.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody...
It's just a lot of his personal, like, the personal life things that are going on with him in this movie are really just, like, thrown in there really fast, and then we move on.
No time to talk about him. You just kind of see him, and then we're to the next thing.
And then it's like, hopefully remember what happened.
It's really just like reading this synopsis. I mean, it's the exact thing. Jumping, man.
Yeah, really jumping around.
For only a 5-year period, it still felt like it was jumping like crazy.
Yeah.
So Dylan, who's now a cultural icon, he begins to feel even more constrained by the expectations of both the music industry and now the folk community as well. As Asher's tour with Baez heightens these tensions because during an argument, Baez was criticizing Dylan's ego and urges him to perform his popular hits instead of newer material, and Bob didn't like that, and the tensions boiled on stage during concert with Dylan publicly lashing out, not lashing out in a Bob Dylan way, where he just says a couple passive-aggressive things and walks off, you know?
I mean, but people have, said shit about that for, that was so rude how he did that, blah, 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 and that's, I totally get it.
Yeah, you
Like, she fully called him out, in front of, an audience of people, and he was like, I don't want to do that, and then she continued, I would also be pissed off.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Bob, he's just so in his own world, man. And that was my struggle in the movie, is trying to get behind that. And, we'll talk about it a little here.
He's an interesting guy, truly.
So, after this, breakdown, he's frustrated with the lack of creative freedom, as he always is, and Dylan decides to explore a bold new direction, incorporating electric instruments and rock influences. Mm-hmm. This shift alarms the folk music community, who prizes acoustic simplicity, so Dylan assembles a band and begins recording Highway 61 Revisited.
Yep. Such a good album.
Yep. Now, we are along to the Newport Folk Festival, where Dylan has performed a couple times throughout the movie. Mm-hmm. At the Newport Folk Festival approaches, Dylan, the headliner, plans to unveil his new sound. The festival committee, which Seeger sits on, is fearing backlash. They try to dissuade him from playing this new stuff.
Yeah. Everyone's kind of on edge because he released this new album, which they don't really say a lot about in the thing. So they're scared that he's going to play his new music. Everyone's kind of freaking out in the folk music community because folk music at that time was very cut and dry. This is exactly what you have to do to be a folk singer and be in the folk genre, and you cannot go outside the lines of that.
Definitely.
So,
and it was kind of the thing I think that Bob liked about folk music initially, was the fact that he could have that freedom, and it just started turning into that, what the music industry was with, trying to get him to play certain things. When he wanted to change, he realized the folk music was the same way, where they weren't accepting of that change.
Yes, but everyone is freaking. The whole board is just kind of freaking out.
Yeah. They're tweaking out.
Pete Seeger's coming to talk to him.
Seeger comes and makes a heartfelt appeal, a really heartfelt appeal with a nice little seesaw example, talking about how he could be the tipping point, essentially, for folk music one way or the other. Mm-hmm. And he reminds Dylan of the potential damage to the festival's legacy, and both of their shared values and friendship,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Dylan invites Sylvie to the festival in an attempt to rekindle their relationship. She agrees, but at the festival, after witnessing a duet between Dylan and Baez, she realizes she cannot continue and leaves for good.
Yeah.
And they have a really fast goodbye on a fence. Kind of weird.
Yeah, that was really strange. He was just like, come back, please, come back. And then she's said some poetic shit and left.
Pretty much. I wish I could remember it because it was really stupid, whatever she said.
I mean, no, she said it.
God, wait.
Went, oh?
She did another. It was some type of cup metaphor. I swear, she did a cup metaphor because there was a seesaw metaphor and then a cup metaphor.
I don't know. The metaphors were going right over my head.
They were crap metaphors. They're terrible metaphors. Yeah, she can't continue the relationship. So now Dylan's on stage at the folk festival and he's got the choice. What music is he going to play, and he decides to ignore the committee's pleas.
Well, he does have a little
push
by a good old JC Johnny Cash.
A drunk Johnny Cash encouraged him basically to take his stand with the electric band.
As he's trying to move his car.
Yeah, as he's trying to move his car. The performance provokes outrage from the audience, who boo and throw objects at the stage. Chaos ensues as the committee, led by Seeger, attempts to cut the sound, but Dylan's agent, Grossman, and thwart their efforts.
Yeah, pretty confused reactions from...
Very, yeah, it wasn't all anger. It wasn't all anger.
Right.
Mostly anger. They were the loudest. But they were...
Exactly, that's the thing. Yeah. The angry people are just the loudest because they're booing and throwing shit.
100%.
So, but yeah, he plays 3 songs, and then is guided off stage because it's getting a little bit loud and a lot of things are getting thrown.
Yep.
It's kind of the vibe.
None after at Cash's insistence, Dylan reluctantly performs an acoustic encore.
Yeah.
That happened?
Yeah. As they're, like, in the backstage, like, on that, like, stairwell, and he's getting pleaded at to play the guitar, and he gives him kind of, like, a nod.
Oh, yes, like, yes. And what does he play at the end there?
Oh, God. I don't remember.
Times are changing. Times are changing.
No.
It's one of his more mainstream
right,
songs.
Yeah, it's very obvious, and everyone obviously knows it because it's very famous.
So yeah, Dylan's controversial performance secures his artistic independence, but it alienates him from the folk community, including Seeger and Baez. In the aftermath, Dylan visits Woody Guthrie one final time, who he'd kind of been meeting with throughout to help with his music, before leaving New York, setting off on his motorcycle to an uncertain future. Future that we know.
The future that we know what it is.
And that is the movie. Cruise through that synopsis.
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to save most of my thoughts to the end so we got through your whole storyline.
Totally.
But I think I have a few main thoughts about this. First of all, and I've said this, I think as someone who knows and loves Bob Dylan, that it was a great movie. It would be impossible to do a film on all of Bob Dylan's life. Like you said, even the 5-year period that we're doing is so chaotic.
It is.
And it's so much more was even happening than that. Like, I was talking about how he sang Only a Pawn in Their Game at the March on Washington, which was just shown for like a split second. Huge moment they couldn't even get into because of how much that was going on. So I get it's going to be a really hard movie to do just because he's truly like such an influential person. He did so much. He's so...
And even harder, somebody coming in from the outside, I expected to get to see the real Bob Dylan, you know?
Right.
When really, I got to see more of that very aloof Bob Dylan, you know, because you really don't, there's a couple pictures and things, and you get to see, you know, him behind closed doors and stuff, but you don't really get to, like, peer into him like I thought you would, because that's the type of person he is, and that was interesting.
It was just kind of his vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think overall, if they were going to do a movie purely on the, what is it, the 65 Newport Folk Festival, that's the big one, the 65, that they need to make a bigger deal of how strict folk music was at the time, as well as kind of why Bob Dylan did that and how it's so influential. Because from what I heard from you right after the movie, as well as like when I was scrolling on TikTok and seeing other people that don't know a lot about Bob Dylan, it was just like, well, why the fuck did he just like play the song? Why wouldn't he just like... be acoustic? Why would he play the electric guitar? Like, why would he do, like, all of that? So I think, as a Bob Dylan fan, I really, really enjoyed it. Like, that moment where he's played, like, I'm freaking out. I'm thinking, this is awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is going to bring someone over to, like, the Bob Dylan fan side.
That was the case for me. I honestly, when he was playing that song, playing the electric, I was thinking he was a little bit unlikable. And I was just, it wasn't like, but I've actually pivoted on that now, because talking to our dad about this. I kind of forgot about how the movie started, which you didn't mention, was Seeger in some type of...
court.
Yeah, he was in court. Essentially for like, they brought him to court for some type of freedom of speech, really. I don't know how he got brought in the court for that. But he was saying things that he shouldn't say. And they brought him to court and tried to control his music. And so I think what they were trying to do there is show us, okay, that was what Seeger was. And now look at him in the folk community trying to control Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
He became what he hated, And so in that moment, you should be on Bob Dylan's side. But I think Seeger was so likable to me, and Bob was so, in his own world. When Seeger came and gave that pitch to just, it was really... Fuck the folk.
Yeah, you're like, come on, Bob, do it.
Just help me. Just help me, your friend. Pete Seeger. And he doesn't. But
it's clear, he did not see at the time the whole picture of what this would actually do for the folk festival community. Or not the folk the folk music community as a whole, where Bob Dylan did. But they just didn't portray that enough that, you feel bad for him. You're like, oh, this poor man. This kid just won't listen to him.
How did they fix that? Because you basically need something to show. You need to get in Bob's head.
I think two things that they could have done to make this more important was, like I said, is bring in more heavy the importance of how folk music is and how very strict it is, how. You need to do this, this, and this to be folk music, and if you do this, it's not folk music. They needed to do that, as well as they needed to add in more of Bob Dylan playing electric and really enjoying playing electric and really seeing his new music and how it's evolved, and see he doesn't want to go back there. He's doing something new that is revolutionary, and he doesn't want to go back to what he was just playing before. If he could have leaned way more into that, then they probably would have gotten more of the people who don't know Bob Dylan loving Bob Dylan. But
you need
I think
a few more scenes around that folk table. All those big people in the industry. And them really controlling, because you just didn't have enough of those. Yeah.
Right.
And then for Bob, if you could just even a little more of his, we need to see why he hates folk music. Not just And
he doesn't hate folk music.
Why he wants to move on from it. We need to see him getting bored more.
That's the thing. If you could have seen that development of him sort of experimenting with and then really going full into more of a rock phase, and you could have seen it. But it was just so short and so
he was just in the studio playing electric music. Now he wants electric music.
Yeah,
it was at least 100%.
But I think I haven't even mentioned it yet. Timothy Chalamet as Bob Dylan, I thought he did an amazing job. I thought he was very Bob Dylan-esque. I think he did a great job. I think he sounded like Bob Dylan. I think he acted like how I've seen Bob Dylan act in old interviews and shit like that.
I probably should have said this up front, but I was not too familiar with Bob before. Right. I'd never seen interviews or anything like that. So going in, I didn't know what he was basing his performance off of. But I thought, looking at interviews now and things, based off of what I know, I believe he did better than most people could. I mean, that guy's really specific, and there's definitely some things that he misses, but the overall, the way his eyes dart around a room and just he gives off awkward energy while being so comfortable in his own skin at the same time. And Timothy Chalamet does that. And
I think that's the vibe. I showed you that one press conference interview, and it's so much. If that's exactly how he responds to any it's just yeah, dude, whatever, this and this, whatever, man, type shit. But it's you're right. It's that awkwardness, but he's just so comfortable with himself that it's not really awkward, but that kind of vibe. Yeah.
I know some people like that in real life, and they're actually the best people to be around too. So that's a cool quality.
Yeah.
I would be very intimidated talking to Bob Dylan though.
Oh, for
I don't think he hates me. It's he would respond in a way that just would not sound like he's too happy. Yeah, I thought Timothy Chalamet was amazing. Whoever the girl played Sylvie, I thought she was really good.
Elle Fanning.
Yeah, Elle Fanning. I know that name. What is she in?
She
and some good stuff. She was.
She's Dakota Fanning's sister. That's what I asked last time when you asked who she was.
Still.
She played Sleeping Beauty in Maleficent.
Oh,
and she's been in a bunch of shit.
Yes.
I don't want to say a bunch of things and confuse her with her sister, because that's what I'm.
In Maleficent, and
she's in Super 8.
Super 8, Daddy Daycare, a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she's great. I thought I don't know who it is. The girl who played Joan Baez, so amazing.
Yeah, she's really good.
And apparently that was all her singing, actually.
Really?
So it was really impressive and really, really good.
Pete Seeger, freaking Edward Norton was amazing. He was almost
good.
Too likable, I think.
He was
the role
so
he was casted in,
likable,
man.
yeah.
Just too likable. Oh my god.
It's very true. Very true. Yeah, what do you have on the technical side of things?
Our technical elements, luckily, is not going to run us over too long here. I don't have many. Pete Seeger's actual guitar was used in Norton's role, which is kind of cool.
Oh, wow.
So that definitely helps you get a little more in touch with the character. And along that line, it was all Timothy Chalamet, and I didn't know all the actors who played Joan Baez singing as well.
Right.
What did you think of their performances?
Really good, yeah.
I thought Timothy Chalamet sounds really like he doesn't quite sound like Bob Dylan. Like
not exactly.
Because I listened to him back to back,
but it's really close. Like there's a little bit of Timothy Chalamet in his singing, but that's okay.
I'm not the person to be talking about this, man. I'm gonna get crucified on this podcast. But he's got like this twang. I feel like that's just like it's almost like Timothy Chalamet is like a more controlled singer. Bob just kind of lets it flow, and like, you know,
which I think
so hard
would absolutely make sense because he's trying to copy something, so he's doing it very technically, probably working with a voice coach or whatever.
100%.
And where Bob Dylan's just singing because he was singing, it was up to his voice.
Theodon Papa Papa Michael. I don't know how you say that. Theodon Papa. He did the cinematography for this movie. And he has done a lot of other musical biopics. This is kind of his thing, is and like filming, you know, concert scenes and stuff like that. He did. I have a couple others, but Walk the Line with Joaquin Phoenix, 2005, the Johnny Cash.
Right.
Yeah. He did also did cinematography for that.
Oh, very
so
cool.
He's professional. And he was mentioning or I guess a couple things. A lot of the night shots, including the shots in New York, were done with, it says mostly natural lighting. So I assume maybe it was just like, you know, I don't know what type of lighting they're rigging up on the streets.
Right.
But it definitely, I'm thinking back to a lot of those night scenes when he's walking around. Specifically that night during the Cuban Missile Crisis when he goes into the bar. Like, it's hard to shoot at night. It's really hard to shoot at night. It doesn't always look quite right. The best movie I've ever seen shoot at night is Nightcrawler. So I'm always trying to compare to that. And the color grading's a little bit different than Nightcrawler, but it looked like raw. Like, it looked, those night scenes, that's another thing I probably should have told you before we went in, because it looked so good. I really liked the scenes I felt at night. And
I did think it was a really beautiful movie, I must say. The colors, it was really gorgeous.
Apparently there's very few static shots, so still shots. Very few, just everything was moving, like, just a little bit, and yeah, I remember that. Yeah, and I don't. That's the end of my technical notes. I don't have a lot of technical notes because so much of the press, so much of the information that's out there is geared towards Bob Dylan's life and music and talking about that.
Yes. Yes.
Quickly, I think this would be a good time probably to talk about Timothy Chalamet's generational promotional run.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God, dude. He went crazy. I mean, off the top of my head, I'm trying to name, like, what he went on. He did a Nardwuar interview, which I saw.
He did Theo Von.
Yep, Theo Von he went on. Did countless TV shows. I saw it. He must have went...
And did you say... I'm not sure when it is, but it's soon, where he's hosting and the musical guest for SNL.
Really?
Yeah,
of course.
He's
Perfect
gold.
timing.
And it's like only a few people have ever fucking done that.
Yeah.
So like
crazy.
He's really like in the press he's killing it.
He went on college football game day too. He went on college game day and played on a bunch of people. He was just got himself in the public eye. And I think it helped out how this movie did so much, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a great job. And I really like listening to him in interviews and stuff. He just seems like a
he like almost seems like someone like you would be friends with.
Like, seriously.
Like he seems like someone that you would just like be like talking with.
He doesn't seem like a celebrity, and I like how I've seen him in a couple different interviews, right? Like I've seen him once talking to it was him and then Martin Scorsese across just them two. So you can imagine who dominated the conversation, Martin Scorsese. But he was so out of his element, and seeing him just kind of like just try to ask a bunch of questions because he's so scared to talk about himself. And it's like you're looking, that's like you looking, Steven Spielberg in the eyes and just trying to be like, yeah, let's just talk right now.
Let's have a normal conversation.
Chat.
No, I think it's interesting because I used to watch, like, I've loved him since, like, Call Me By Your Name, like, that movie that came out, like, over 5 years, 10 almost maybe years ago that it came out, and it's in his interviews exactly this. Like, obviously he's more mature, but it's like the same exact vibe where he's literally just seemed like a chill human just talking and not like very like celebrity and like perfect, which I think a lot of people have like kind of morphed into.
Totally.
So I think that's really cool for sure.
Yeah, he seems genuine at the best that you can tell from looking at a man on the internet you've never met before.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, are you ready to move into ratings?
Yeah, quick little reviews real fast. I'll show you one of each. For the critics reviews for one of each.
Okay.
Is that
right? Yeah. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting that you did that. I don't have my outline in front of me. I'm sorry.
So for the good one, we have Peter Travers from ABC News. Forget the thin membrane of soap opera plot. So we'll just ignore that up top. Timothy Chalamet acts and sings the young Bob Dylan to show-stopping perfection, catching the mystery man and the exhilarating act of inventing himself as multitudes and always creating and always in the wind. No score listed for that one, but I imagine it's a fresh score at the very least. Fresh score. Then we have Adam Naiman from The New Republic. The film structure aims for the long... This is the bad one. The film structure aims for the long, winding lines of a ballad, but the overall effect is more like a series of catchy, finger-picked jingles. We go behind the music without getting inside of it.
Yeah, I would pretty much agree with both of those.
Yeah, I agree with that second one a lot more. The fact that I like that last part, we went behind the music without getting inside of it.
Absolutely, I agree with that for sure. But I agree with what the first guy was saying as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, what would your rating be, G?
So, I've been thinking about this for a while now. I've gone up and down between. We had Wicked, I believe, at a 4.2. Is that right? Or 4, somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there.
So I think I'm going to place this one at a 3.5.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit higher. I'm going to go green with my letterbox. Total would be a 3.7. Just a little high because I did just love how it was done as a already Bob Dylan fan before the movie. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
So 3.7 for me.
Yeah, I think my 3.5. A lot of it because majority of it comes from Timothy Chalamet's performance.
Yeah.
Being able to go in as somebody who doesn't really know Bob Dylan and still be able to latch on to that and enjoy watching how it went down. It was fun. It was just how the story was laid out. The ending, hurt me a little bit. I think there were awkward moments, and I know you hate when I bring up awkward moments, but like the stuff with Sylvie saying goodbye was really weird at the fence. It just didn't quite feel right, and I don't know if that was because it was rushed, because it was only a five-year period,
or if it was supposed to be purposefully awkward, which is a conversation we constantly have.
That is true. Or it could have, maybe that's what it's supposed to show.
Right.
I just, the only warmth that I felt from this movie was when watching Timothy Chalamet singing. And, I wish I would have gotten more just warmth and good vibes from anywhere else in the film, and maybe I would have brought it up. It's hard to say, why I don't like it as much, but it's... Yeah,
I would agree with that. My score just comes up because based on someone who has the previous knowledge, and I've seen the clip of the black and white really close up to his face from the 1965 Newport Folk Festival. I think they did that scene in a movie so well, which definitely brings the score over it, because I was freaking out. But I get it's brought down because I understand how someone who doesn't know who Bob Dylan is, he wasn't portrayed well enough to make that as awesome of a moment as it was.
Yeah, even though I understand what they were doing now, I still think it wasn't laid out well enough, and for me to feel that way in the movie and be like, wait, why are you doing this? That is a frustrating spot to be in as an audience member.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. Yeah, well, any final thoughts on Complete Unknown?
I think I'm good.
Yeah, so our next movie up is the re-release of Goonies for their anniversary.
Our first re-release. We
will be getting that video out in a timely manner, and we will actually be fresh out of the film that time. Yeah. But yes, this was a little New Year's special. 2 movies done. We never decided on an outro like we said we were, so,
We definitely did. We definitely did. But...
well, if we did, I didn't write it down. I don't know what I was going to say.
Alright, on the spot outro. Here we go.
We are the Fresh Out the Film podcast. I'm Mara.
And I'm Gio.
And that's it.